What's up, guys? Welcome to another shocking prison episode. If you like what we do here, please hit the subscribe button. It is not a crime and you won't go to prison for it, trust me. Today we've got something truly mind-blowing for you. And let me tell you, this one's wild. You won't believe the stories we're about to dive into. We're talking about Hollywood's dark side. The celebrities who traded red carpets for prison cells. Yes, you heard that right. Can you believe it? Life imprisonment. These stars had it all, but their actions led them down a path they never expected. These A-listers went from fame and fortune to orange jumpsuits and a whole lot of regret. It's a shocking transformation. You won't believe some of the names on this list. We're talking about household names, people you never thought would end up behind bars. Imagine walking down the red carpet, cameras flashing, fans screaming your name. Now picture that same person in a courtroom facing serious charges. It's a stark contrast, right? But it's the reality for some of Hollywood's biggest stars. Their stories are a mix of drama, crime, and a fall from grace. From DUIs to tax evasion and even more serious crimes, these celebrities have seen it all. And now they're paying the price. The media had a field day with these scandals. Headlines splashed across newspapers, TV reports, and social media buzzed with shock and disbelief. Courtrooms became the new stage for these stars. Instead of movie scripts, they were reading legal documents, fighting for their freedom. Life behind bars is no Hollywood movie. It's tough, it's real, and it's a far cry from the luxury they once knew. So stay tuned as we uncover the stories of these fallen stars. Their rise to fame, their downfall, and the lessons we can all learn from their mistakes. This is going to be an eye-opening journey. Buckle up, because you're in for a wild ride. Let's get started.
All right. First up, we have the Tiger King, Joe Exotic. Tiger King star Joe Exotic has been in prison since the 2020 premiere of his hit Netflix show, stemming from numerous charges against him. For years, Joe had been accused of mistreating the animals in his wildlife park, and animal rights activist Carol Baskin had long campaigned for Joe to shut down his traveling shows. As animosity grew between them, Joe posted threats against her online, leading up to an attempted murder. In 2017, he tried to hire 2 hitmen to kill Carol, only to later learn he had actually been talking to an undercover FBI agent. Following the FBI investigation, Joe was arrested. In court, he was found guilty of attempting to hire someone to murder Carol, as well as 9 counts of violating the Endangered Species Act and 8 counts of violations to the Lacey Act for falsifying wildlife records. He is currently serving 22 years in prison, although he has attempted to receive a pardon several times. Number 9. Harvey Weinstein. Disgraced producer Harvey Weinstein is currently serving a prison sentence after years of sexually harassing numerous women in Hollywood. Since the initial allegations were made against Harvey, dozens of women have come forward, including stars like Rose McGowan, Mira Sorvino, and Salma Hayek. These victims claim that they were harassed with everything from intimidating sexual advances to rape, and threats against their careers if they did not comply. After being arrested in 2018, Harvey's case was finally taken to trial in 2020. After a lengthy process, he was charged with committing a criminal sexual act in the first-degree and third-degree rape and was sentenced to 23 years behind bars. The following year, he was extradited to Los Angeles, where he faced charges from a woman who accused him of assaulting her at a film festival in 2013. He was convicted of 1 count of rape and 2 counts of sexual assault and was sentenced to an additional 16 years. Number 8. Jared Fogle. Former Subway spokesperson Jared Fogle has been behind bars for over 7 years, serving out a sentence related to child pornography. In 2015, he was found guilty of possessing child pornography and crossing state lines to pay for sex with minors. The judge sentenced him to more than 15 years in federal prison and was ordered to pay $1.4 million in restitution to 14 victims. Since entering prison, Jared has continued to make headlines. In 2016, he was attacked by a fellow inmate. More recently, he penned a letter from prison, expressing that he had royally screwed up and was selfish and entitled. He'll be eligible for parole in 2029. Number 7. Jen Shah. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jen Shah is currently serving time for her role in a nationwide telemarketing scheme, which victimized many elderly and working-class people. After she was arrested in 2021, a Homeland Security's press release revealed that she had defrauded hundreds of people by selling lead lists for fictitious business opportunities. During her trial in March 2022, Jen pled guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and she was sentenced to 6.5 years behind bars. She was also ordered to forfeit $6,500,000, 30 luxury items, and 78 counterfeit luxury items, as well as pay $6,645,251 in restitution.
A real housewife of Salt Lake City, who's also the wife of a University of Utah football coach, is now facing federal charges along with her assistant on suspicion of running a nationwide telemarketing fraud and money laundering scheme.
Number 6. Josh Duggar. Former 19 Kids and Counting star Josh Duggar has found himself embroiled in scandal over the past decade, all leading up to child pornography charges. In 2019, Homeland Security conducted an investigation at Josh's car dealership where they discovered downloads depicting child sex abuse traced to Josh's IP address. Josh was later arrested, and in 2021, he was found guilty on child pornography charges. He was sentenced to 12.5 years in prison, which he is currently serving. He must also serve 20 years supervised release, register as a sex offender, and pay $50,000 in fines. Number 5. Todd Krisley and Julie Krisley. In 2022, Todd and Julie Krisley were found guilty on numerous federal charges after being accused of defrauding banks by obtaining millions in loans based on false financial documents. The Krisley Knows Best stars were charged with bank fraud and tax evasion and were placed on house arrest. Several months later, they were sentenced, with Todd set to serve 12 years in prison, while Julie was sentenced to 7. The couple began their time in prison in 2023 and since then have had their release date moved up. Todd had his prison release moved up to January 22, 2033, 2 years earlier than his originally scheduled 2035 release, while Julie is due out October 19, 2028, a year and 3 months earlier than her initial release date. Number 4. R. Kelly. In 2019, R. Kelly was arrested on numerous federal charges including child pornography and sex trafficking, stemming from his relationship with 5 minors in the 1990s. The musician had previously been acquitted of child pornography charges in 2008, but the accusations against him resurfaced after alleged victims spoke out in miniseries Surviving R. Kelly. In the new charges, it was alleged that R. Kelly met the 5 minors while they were between the ages of 12 and 17 years old, and 4 of those girls were depicted engaging in sexual acts with him. When the case went to trial, R. Kelly was found guilty on 9 counts of sex trafficking and racketeering in New York. In a separate trial in Chicago, he was also convicted of child pornography and enticing a minor for sex. In total, he is serving 31 years behind bars. Number 3. Amy Locane. Melrose Place star Amy Locane is serving out her second sentence after her fatal DUI charge in 2010, stemming from an accident where she crashed into another car while under the influence. Amy initially served 3 years in prison on charges of vehicular homicide and assault and was released in 2015. The following year, her sentencing was re-reviewed due to what the court felt was an inadequate explanation for leniency. After years of legal battles over Amy's potential return to jail, she was ultimately sentenced to an additional 8 years in New Jersey State Prison after a judge agreed with prosecutors that her initial sentence was too lenient. Number 2. Ryan Grantham. Grantham was a successful child actor, notably playing Rodney James in the 2010 movie Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Later, he appeared in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus and in a 2019 episode of the CW's Riverdale. All told, Grantham amassed more than 30 acting credits in film and television. On March 31, 2020, the then 21-year-old Grantham killed his mother by shooting her in the back of her head as she played piano in their British Columbia home. He then loaded up his car with guns and ammunition and began driving east with a plan to kill Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He ultimately changed his mind and considered carrying out a mass shooting at his alma mater, Simon Fraser University, before deciding to turn himself in. According to Grantham's lawyer, Grantham was assessed by 2 court-appointed psychiatrists who agreed that at the time of this horrendous event, he, Grantham, was suffering from a major depressive disorder and a cannabis use disorder, among other things. Grantham pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, and at his sentencing pledged to spend his life rehabilitating himself and helping others. He is eligible for parole in 2036 after serving 14 years. And for number 1, Tory Lanez. In 2020, rapper Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion while they were leaving a party in Hollywood. At the time, the pair had been involved in an intimate relationship, and when Megan decided not to go home with Tory, a dispute ensued. As Megan attempted to walk away, she was shot in the foot by Tory. Over the next few months, social media took sides with many accusing Megan of lying. The case eventually went to trial in 2022, where Megan emotionally recalled the events of that night. Tory was found guilty of 3 felony charges: assault with a semi-automatic handgun, having a loaded and unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and gross negligence in discharging his firearm. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Damn, guys, those were some heavy stories. We've seen how the pursuit of fame and fortune can corrupt even the most promising individuals. These 10 celebrities, once celebrated for their talent and charisma, are now defined by their crimes. Their stories serve as a stark reminder of the dark side of Hollywood, where temptation and opportunity often collide with devastating consequences. Until next time, stay safe out there.